Yes, sir. Shout out to Big Sean, Deep Reverence featuring the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Rest in power to Nipsey. I'm with my brothers, Mr. Robert Burrell. We're going to give him a round clapper.
What's poppin'?
You heard? The Babyface Killer, Young Gunner, Moses Chavez.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good.
How was y'all week, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Pretty solid?
Pretty solid, yeah, no complaints.
Yeah.
My week was cool. Wasn't too much going on. You know, in between, like, just feel like the days is just running together. Like,
Facts.
I look up, it's Friday. I feel like it wasn't that long ago before we recorded our last episode. So, this is all running together, man. February came and went. March is here and it's about to be gone. And so, you know, peace and blessings to everybody out there that's tuned into the Reach Over Culture podcast. Shout out to you. If this is your first time listening, I want to make some noise for you. If you back after being gone for a while, you know, still making some noise for you, man. Thank you for tuning in. And if this is gonna be your last time listening, then, you know, shout out to you. And you. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in on the YouTube. We actually getting like comments from random people that we don't know, saying things that they don't understand.
It's always good.
It's always good. You know, shout out to James Bond, whoever that is. Left a crazy comment, and you know, half of it I felt like was valid, and then the other half I was like, alright, bro, you go by James Bond on YouTube, bro. You 007, you a spy. I don't understand. But in that moment that I got a little irritated, because I'm like, yo, here's somebody in the internet world that doesn't know us or might know us, might be trolling, leaving comments. But I'm like, yo, ain't that when you kind of made it? When people you don't know making comments about you that they don't, ain't that when you kind of like, because you don't know us from Adam and Eve, so you seen something, you clicked on it and you watched the content. So shout out to James Bond, man, for helping us feel like, yo, I don't really feel like, you know, we made it until we get some hate, until we get a couple of DMs like, what y'all was saying about women was crazy. I done got a couple phone calls like, oh, y'all young, y'all don't know anything.
Sound like clout chasing to me.
Yeah, you know, and but I was like, hey, you watched. God bless. Because there was also a lot of people who was rocking, you know, who's rocking with our content. You know, the traction is steady growing, and, you know, all praises to God for that. For the people that's newly subscribed, listen, the cheapest and best way that you can support us is to subscribe to the content, like the content, or hit the dislike button. It's all clicks.
It's all support.
It's all support, man. So subscribe, man. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts. Like, the downloads is what counts in this world, even more than YouTube subscribers. If you can't donate, if you want to support and you just don't know how, man, subscribe on any streaming platforms. Get our downloads up. Y'all already showing out in our views on YouTube. You know, those are steadily growing. So, you know, we see the support coming in. So just keep supporting, man. If you like what we're doing, subscribe wherever you streaming, you know, wherever you're streaming, and subscribe on YouTube, you know, to the content, man. But shout out to everybody that's rocking with the content nonetheless. Let's get into it. All right, so questions that need answering. Which celebrity would make the worst leader of the country?
Worst celebrity to become the leader of the country.
Yeah, you know, outside of Trump. I mean, Trump is kind of like the obvious. I took some time, I thought about this, and it's so many that would be a horrible, horrible leader of the country. But I'm gonna have to say Orlando Brown.
Absolutely.
You know who Orlando Brown is?
That sounds familiar, but no.
So have you seen That's So Raven?
Oh, yeah.
So the black dude off of That's So Raven.
Her brother?
Nah,
No,
not her brother.
Nah, yeah.
Nah, it was her friend.
Yeah, one of her friends.
Oh,
High
okay.
school.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Orlando Brown would positively be top 5 worst leaders of the free world.
Yeah.
As we know it. This is a guy who was on every Disney show that you could probably think of. Was on every, like, Moses. Moses, I don't want to hit. I'm gonna have an old head moment. There was a thing on Friday nights when a new Disney movie would premiere, and I'm not talking about the stuff you used to. I'm talking about, motocross. I'm talking about Eddie's $1 Million Cookout. I'm talking about Xenon. I'm talking about the Poof Point. I'm talking about things that you got to go on Disney Plus to get a concept of. I know you don't know any of these movies I'm talking about, and that's okay, because these before your time. But every Friday night a new movie would premiere, and you was up waiting for that movie to premiere, right? And he would be on damn near half of those movies in some form or fashion. And then he was on That's So Raven. I thought he could hoop crazy, but he wasn't really that crazy. He was somewhat of a rapper. He was on Major Payne. He was on a lot. Like, Orlando Brown was the dude. If you're thinking about Smart Guy, he wasn't on Smart Guy, but like it was kind of like Taj Mowry and Orlando Brown as the young black child stars coming up. But now he's getting beat up in the street, homeless, getting kicked out of places, claiming to have had sex with Diddy. Like, it's wild. Yeah, he's just going through a lot, and for me, he would make the worst, even worse than Kanye. Because a lot of people here, Kanye for sure. No, Kanye has nothing on Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
So, what about y'all? It's a tough follow, I know.
Rob?
Very tough follow. I'm gonna have to say Kanye, only because he's too emotional, and it's fine to be emotional, but being the president, you can't be emotional making rash decisions.
True, very true.
Because he'll have the people's best interest, but he's just too emotional. Like, he's led by emotion too much to be the leader of the quote unquote free world.
I would tend to agree.
Quote unquote free world.
Quote unquote free world. Got to put the quotes on there.
Yeah. I would probably say 6ix9ine.
That's a good one.
That's a real good one.
That's a good one.
The whole world.
The whole world.
Yeah. He's just a fool.
That is a good one, man. I didn't even think about 6ix9ine.
I didn't either. I mean, you think Donald Trump is a troll, boy? That's hilarious.
Hey, listen, if you ain't got nuclear codes, you can't talk to me. You're a little boy. All right, we'll blow your whole country up. You're a little boy. Stop playing.
Stupid.
Stupid. King of New York.
I'm the king of New York. I'm really the king of the world now. Like, who got rainbow hair is the president. I'm the king. I'm really the king of the world now. Who go from telling on everybody, yeah, I'm a rat. Not a rat run the world. Rats run the world now. Huh.
Part of me would pay to just see like a week of him in the office. That would be hilarious.
I can just see him standing in the pulpit. It's like,
Oh.
I don't even know what team what party he represent, but I can just see him
Totally independent.
calling out people.
Yeah, he'd probably make his own party.
Make his own party, yeah.
And paint the White House.
Scum gang party.
Paint the White House a rainbow color or something crazy.
It would be a show.
Imagine if he made a music video on the White House.
He would, bro.
Yeah.
He would do everything but correct policy.
This man would make everything free. He'd just do some of that most outlandish stuff.
Man, that's a good one, bro. You beat mine. That's a good one. All right. Also, recapping the All-Star Weekend. Obviously, All-Star Weekend was not a full weekend. It was more of a one-day type ordeal, which was very odd. It's just not. If you're a basketball fan, All-Star Weekend was just probably not what you. It's just not what you used to. You look forward to this weekend every single year. Friday night celebrity game. sophomore rookie game, which they turned into the USA World game. Which I wish they would have kept sophomore rookies, honestly, because even if you looked at the roster for the rookie World game this year, the world was gonna get washed.
Yeah, it's like, who are you?
Right? Like they had Campozo on the, and bro's 29.
Bro, my dog,
you know what I'm saying?
29-year-old rookie.
You know what I'm saying? So, yes, but nonetheless, and then Saturday night you had the skills challenge, 3-point contest, dunk contest, and then Sunday night you had the game. I mean,
a full weekend.
Bro, and if you never actually been a part of like an all-star type weekend, it's madness. I always was upset because they've had all-star weekend in New Orleans like 6 out of the last 10 years. I haven't been to one. Like my grandma got to see LeBron during the all-star weekend, and he didn't even know who the dude was. He was like, I think that was that boy, and then she showed me a picture. I was like, that was LeBron James.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, him. Yeah, him. You like him? Yeah, him. I was like, the GOAT? You got to see like one of the GOATs in real time. So, you know, shout out to All-Star Weekend, but it was not an All-Star Weekend this year. It was more of a Sunday. I'm assuming you didn't peep it.
I don't have TV.
All right. Rob, I got to see the 3-point. I saw the skills challenge. I saw the 3-point challenge. I was on the road back from the city, so I actually missed most of the dunk contest, and I barely tuned into the game. What parts of the All-Star weekend or All-Star day did you see?
I didn't watch anything live, just because I wasn't as hype as you normally would be. But on the watch back, I only caught the game in its entirety, and I watched just the dunks on like highlights and stuff like that. But surprisingly, the game was really good. Like I didn't think it'd be as like fun to watch. Like, but it was a really fun game. Jerseys were dope. Like I'm not sure the inspiration behind them.
Me neither. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, because normally it's some inspiration that we know, but these were just random. But I liked them though. Like I think there was some really really dope jerseys. Dunk contest. I watched the highlights of it. Pretty good dunks from guys that you may not know or you wouldn't expect to be in the dunk contest. 3-point contest. I expect Curry to win it. He did his thing as always. Yeah. But overall, I think they did pretty good, considering the times. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it.
I would agree. Like, could we have done without it? Yeah. We probably could have done without it. But if you're gonna do it, just like with the bubble last year, I got to give credit where credit is due. They made it a lot more entertaining than I thought. They would make it, and they came out to play. Like, I mean, Brian just drafted a superstar team, and I tried to give Team Durant a chance, like, because they got a bunch of first-time guys, so they're going to try to show out. Yeah. And, you got Kyrie and James who can go for 50 and they sleep, and Kyrie's usually, like, all-star GOAT. And so, but, I mean, Steph showed up and played, like, I ain't never seen him play that well in an all-star game before.
Right.
And so, I remember me, you, and MC talking, I'm like, Kyrie gonna cook Steph in the All-Star game because Kyrie take the All-Star game serious. Steph don't ever take, and Steph was out there working. And then, I mean, you made a great point. Pretty much like whoever what team Giannis on, that's what I'm going. Because he the only one that take the game as if it's Game 7, and that he did, and he ended up getting the MVP, right?
Yeah. So,
shout out to you, and I want to know the inspiration of that too, because I like the blue and yellow color scheme, even though I thought I was watching a pace of scrimmage at first.
Right.
But and then I like the fact that they base it around HBCUs. I think that's why a lot of guys end up playing.
Facts, yeah.
I felt like the league had to give some give and take because at first LeBron and them was not like
not having it.
So it's like you had to give them some type of leeway to get them to play. So respect. That's power to the players right there. That's how you leverage your superstar. But shout out to the NBA for throwing a successful. Shout out to the people in the dunk contest. Shout out to Cassius Stanley because I didn't know he was going to be in there, and it's crazy, bro. Because we was high on Cassius Stanley coming out of high school, and then he did the one and done at Duke. And when they said he hasn't had one NBA dunk, I was like, huh? He had one dunk in the NBA game this year.
Is he getting game time?
Nah, he's mainly been a two-way player this year.
That's tough.
He's mainly been playing in the G League, which these guys gotta stop rushing out of college, bro.
Right.
I get it, get the bag, but then you get out, you're underdeveloped. I think he would have benefited more from the G League rule coming out of high school, like Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that he didn't catch that wave. But, you know, a lot of these guys do not be prepared for the NBA levels. And this is a kid that I was flying on everybody. But then you go back and you look at the highlights. I mean, he's good, don't get me wrong. But you look at a lot of the prep schools and stuff that he playing. And then, I mean, you know, Sierra Cannon, that's who Bronny plays for now, Amari Bailey. Cassius Stanley played with Kenyon Martin Jr., who was just talking about, and Scottie Pippen's son. And they was running through teams.
Yeah.
But I would argue and say Sierra Canyon is actually playing better competition this year than they were. And they were playing better competition last year than they were when Cassius Stanley and them were actually there.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Shout out to Cassius Stanley. Shout out to Anthony Simons.
Simons, yeah.
I thought the dunks was decent.
Yeah.
They were decent. Those dunks aren't easy to do.
Yeah. I thought, as weird as it may sound, I thought Simon should have actually tried to kiss the rim.
Yeah.
I think that would have been like.
Yeah. Well, I think. So you don't think he actually like tried?
Nah, I don't think so. I think he just tried to get it high enough to where like you can see like he's out of level to it.
Got you.
But I think if he would have had like the concentration to actually throw himself through, jump up, focus, kiss it, and dunk it, I think that would have been like another level. Because I feel like it takes so much focus to make sure the ball is like in your hand perfectly, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like it would have been like a very, very good dunk. But all in all, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, and I like when I saw the highlight, it was like I felt like he got up there, but he was afraid to hit his head on the rim.
Yeah,
so it kind of like did a jerk motion, like I was about to, but I ain't, because I ain't trying to bust my head open. But that actually makes sense that he was so far away. It was like, nah, you really was trying to get eye level. So that makes sense.
But it showed the hops, though, at being, 6'2", 6'3"?
I didn't know he could jump like that.
I mean, yeah, I watched him with Portland. Like, he's really good. I didn't think he could jump like that either, though. I thought Cassius would win it by a landslide.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
proven wrong.
Yeah, and shout out to those guys. And yeah, with the 3-point contest stuff, like when I first turned it on, I didn't know who was in the 3-point contest. When I first cut it on, Jason Tatum was out there doing his thing. And I was like, you know what, just off the cuff, I'm going with Tatum.
Yeah.
But then they showed the full list. I saw Steph. I said, oh yeah, not Steph. My bad. My bad. And he got out there and got to going stupid. So shout out to those guys. And man, shout out to the sports pod that we got coming, man. It's going to be the first extension of the Reach Over Culture media group. By the time we put out 2 sports podcasts, we're an official media group. Don't call us a podcast anymore.
Facts.
It's an official media group because that's going to be crazy. It's, Rob is anchoring that. So y'all going to get to hear a lot more of his expertise.
It's going to be fun.
Y'all just going to hear me be pissed off. Just like with Carolina losing last night. I'm at Torchy's and I'm like, me and Mel walking Torchy's and I'm,
what's going on?
Yeah, this is it's a good way to piss me off during this date. And we had a fighting chance too. We almost won the game.
They said first year since '69, I think, that Duke and Carolina, like one or both teams, hasn't been in ACC championship. And you think about it, it's like a solid 30+ years.
And
like,
that's
almost 50,
bruh. We had the game won. We were climbing back the whole game. And this is the thing about Carolina that pisses me off, just like it pisses me off with the Pelicans. The talent is there. You can't look at Florida State and look at Carolina's roster and say that Florida State is more talented. They're playing better basketball. And so they've strung together more wins. Fair enough. But talent-wise, they're not better than Carolina.
Yeah.
But they know their brand.
Yeah.
They let this kid Scotty Barnes get off last night. Scotty Barnes out there catching bodies. Shout out to Scotty Barnes. If he come out this year, he probably going to be a lottery pick. But yeah, he was out there catching bodies. Caleb Love got going late, but he got going. It was just a couple of in-game decisions that just was that took us out the game. But we should have won that basketball game.
I ended up catching some Carolina game with Caleb Love recently. After y'all talked about him, I didn't know who he was. I like his game.
Bro, he nice, right?
Yeah, I forgot what game they had. He scored like 27 or something like that. And just watching him play, it's like, man, like, this kid could be nice.
He could. He could. He just don't show up when he struggled shooting for the majority of the season. It wasn't until the second half of the season. I think the game you're referring to, because we would have beaten on somebody when he hit 27.
It was like maybe 2 weeks, if that long.
Was it the Duke game? Could it have been the Duke game?
It was Duke.
It was the Duke, right? Yeah,
Duke was playing terrible.
Yeah. We put a beating on Duke, something crazy.
Yeah, smacked him something vicious.
But yeah, he could be. It's just the same thing with the Pelicans, bro. We got all these dudes that can be nice, should be nice, would be nice. Moses, you ever had somebody that was just a shoulda, coulda, woulda been person?
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of my sports teams are consistent of right now. Coulda, shoulda, woulda been, coulda been, had have been. If they do,
just to let you down,
bro. They just build me up to let me down. Somebody hit me last night, like, man, y'all got a W. Y'all spanked the Cleveland Cap. Don't talk to me about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Tell me about them.
What? Oh yeah, man. Bi went crazy.
He's supposed to.
We paying him $158 million. I would hope I'm gonna save it all for the sports podcast, man. Because I'm gonna be the pissy person on the sports joint. Rob and Matt are gonna be talking logic. I'm gonna just be talking from straight up emotion. And then when we bring Dylan in, I'm gonna let them handle it. I'm gonna just produce and be quiet on the sidelines because I'm fed up with sports this year. Boxers don't want to fight. My teams don't want to get it right. Forget sports, man. Shout out to Carson Wentz. Forget sports. Forget him too. All right, so getting back into the potatoes of this. Have y'all heard about the Meghan Markle Prince Harry situation at all?
I heard about it.
I have not.
So, and I don't know too much about it either. They recently did an interview where Meghan Markle pretty much expressed that she's been stressing and having a tough time, even to the point of having suicidal thoughts in her tenure of being a part of the royal family and the position that they've given her. I don't know her official title.
Is that his wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the black chick that married the prince from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's in the royal family now, and she says that the family has concerns and just about the skin tone of what the baby's going to be, and it's just becoming more and more apparent that you're the black person in the room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's mixed herself, but it's just becoming more and more apparent, like, oh, we about to have a black kid in the family. And so that she just says, like, the energy and the vibes that she's getting from the family has caused her to have suicidal thoughts and just her expectations of what she's supposed to do and not supposed to do. So they are officially leaving the royal family, quote unquote, and moving to Canada. Prince Harry is relieving himself of all his duties for the time being until the baby is born, but they're moving to Canada until further notice. The family came out, made a statement saying that they were, apologetic for the way Meghan feels, but they've done their absolute best to make her feel as comfortable as possible. But the interview says something different. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about the royal family in the United Kingdom, if you look at, I would say boldly, they are responsible for about 70% of the world's issues as current. When you think about the Atlantic slave trade, the myriad of wars that's broken out in between countries, a lot of that spawned from early UK. This same family that's been the royal family in the United Kingdom for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Even though people say they don't have any real power as far as controlling the country anymore, a lot of that power has been given over to the government. They still have that clout.
Yeah, that influence.
They still have that influence where it's Prince Harry and Queen Diana. So, and racism is a thing in that family.
Yeah,
it just is. And so it brought me to think about brought me to think about family, and that's what I want to get into. Because I was thinking about this past year. We now coming up on a year of this whole pandemic breaking out, things shutting down, whether it be churches, businesses, and the world just being separate. From March up until really summer, the world was completely shut down. Everybody had to be quarantined. Things were closing early, and the world is slowly but surely, especially the states have Texas just ended their mass mandate. So people, once the vaccines are going out, more people are getting vaccinated, and the world is starting to open up. And but this past year, a lot of people have just been secluded to, my four and no more. And I mean, obviously you had people like getting wild, but COVID has affected a lot of relationships. You have people that haven't seen their parents of old age and stuff in a year. People that haven't traveled out of their respective state in a year, really haven't went 20 miles maybe in a year, haven't went to any social gatherings or done anything. And so I can imagine that COVID has affected a lot of relationships. One of my first questions to y'all is one, before we get into the family topic, what does family mean to y'all?
Family means a lot.
Okay.
That means a lot to me. Just spending time, and that's just like something that's one of my priorities. Obviously, I don't have a family. I mean, Rob would know more, but I feel like in the future, it's just something that's a priority, and it's something that God gave you.
Okay, so when I say family, what does it mean to you? It meaning everything. How do you identify somebody as family? Like, do you have friends you identify as family? Like, what would qualify somebody as family in your life?
I think someone who's down for you no matter what. It's always going to be by your side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rob, you want to go? You want me to go?
You got it.
All right. Family to me is, I would echo a lot of your sentiments. Family to me is a very sacred. That means we bonded, together through the good and the bad and the indifferent. Family doesn't necessarily mean we share the same DNA. We can share the same DNA and not have a sense of family. Because you'll have people that share the same DNA as you that might look at other people that don't share the same DNA as more family than you, And we can equate that to a lot of, homes being broken up, just the overall system of everything is about they. Everything is about the man breaking up what we got going on. So there's a lot of reasons why. But, family for me it's the bond, it's the connection, it's the loyalty, it's the sense of relationship. It's me looking at Rob and knowing not only is he going to be there, but he's actually shown it too. He's actually shown and proved, over a certain span of time, where I love him as much as I love a brother that I do share blood with. Right? Family to me is deeper than DNA. It's deeper than us sharing the same last name. Again, it's a relationship. It's a bond. It's the connection. And that's what family means to me. It means a lot. And so with that, I take family seriously because I don't consider everybody family. Mm-hmm. Friends, yes. Associates, yes. But not everybody is family. Just because we share the same last name and we got the same blood type don't mean that we family. Because you might do me greasier than somebody that has only known me for a year. That don't make us family, if that makes sense. So that's for me.
Yeah, I mean, y'all spot on with it. I agree. Family is very sacred, A lot of people have a misconstrued view of family just because of upbringing.
Right. So,
a lot of people will put that title on somebody who has time served, and for me, like y'all said, it's about loyalty. It's about, somebody who has my best interest, my family's best interest, and somebody who's just going to keep it, 1,000, through and through, whether if it hurts and it's, you know, the hurtful truth, or whether if it's being transparent about how I am as a person, as a husband, as a father, you know, things of that nature. So, yeah, family is very, very important, and it's definitely, it can definitely shape somebody's mind frame on life and how they view, you know, a lot of things outside of a person. So, yeah, I agree with y'all for sure.
And how do y'all feel? I know I separated the concept of family and friendship. Do you feel like that's do you feel like you can separate the two? Like how do y'all feel about just family, friendship, separating one from the other? Can you? And you know, can you separate family from friendship? Like you just got your friends, but you got your friends that you consider family. What am I trying to say? Yeah. Like I said, I separate. I got friends and I got family. Oh, I'm sorry. How do y'all feel about the concept of some people that say you can separate being family from just being relatives? That was my question.
Yeah.
I'm Bike.
It's yeah. I mean, it's true. Because to be a relative is like you're like my actual bloodline. You know, like we have the same DNA. You know, but family. Family was the meaning of like a relative at one point, but you know, like as life goes on, you realize that it's different. So I agree with that statement, that them being two totally different things. And even with your question that you asked before that, it's like you can't have friends as family and friends as friends, right? You know, because there's like people play different positions in different seasons of your life. So it's okay to have a friend that you just go out and play 2K with. It's cool to have a friend that you know, go out to eat with and have, you know, heartfelt talks about purpose and goals. You know, like it's like every friend is going to be different. At least every friend should be different. Every friend should play a different role in your life. So some friends will have that closer niche to your heart and to your family than others, and like I think that's okay.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is like relatives versus like family.
Being family. Like, or do you even feel like you can make that type of separation?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I got relatives that like I never hit up like ever again, and then I got some like cousins who were like family, like I consider sisters and brothers. I feel like to be like family, it like takes consistent communication and I guess attendance, always being around each other, and just like nurturing the relationships that you guys have. And I feel like over time you guys just get closer and closer, and that would be family. But I mean, relatives is just someone I guess you see at like family reunion or like a family party or something. But I mean, family is just, it's like another level of like a sacred relationship.
I would agree. Now, how was this past year, like with everything going on with the pandemic and COVID, how's that affected y'all's relationships, whether that be, you know, friends? I mean, we're talking about family, but, you know, friends you consider family, or, you know, family. How's that affected y'all relationships with them?
Well, I feel like the past year I've gotten more relationships. I guess like all of us just got more closer. I don't know. It's weird. Like for me, like last year, I got like so many. I knew so much people, and we all got closer. Because I mean, sometimes there's just like nothing to do except just like go walk and talk. And you know, there's a handful of people that like we would always like go to this hill and like watch the sunset. And we'd just like have life talks. But I mean, the pandemic has really messed up with my family, because like a couple months ago, my aunt passed away. It was my dad's brother, and they were really close. Sister. Yeah, and then a couple weeks later, after her death, was my grandpa, and my dad lost his dad too. Oh, man. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I've just seen what my dad's going through, and that's kind of just affected me. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I mean,
what you're saying is but other than that, like, you've got an opportunity to meet more people and build a relationship with more people during this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I don't think it hasn't changed the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just shown me the level of each person.
Mm-hmm.
Because with COVID, it's like you can't go nowhere, son. And like y'all can just go out and have a good time to spend time. Like and like y'all can just go out and do something that doesn't require you to be personable. You know, so it just showed me who I can like have life talks with, or who can come to the house, and you know we could just talk about something that means that have a topic that means something, and not just going out to kick it and spending time, but not like building relational equity.
Right.
So it's definitely showed me the people who I can lean on and go to for life, and not just to have good times, So, but yeah, it hasn't changed people wise. It's just shown me levels of each person.
That's good, bro.
Yeah. I was gonna add on, like, I feel like there's some people that show up only to have fun, like with their fun event.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that will show up to just be in presence with you.
Yeah, you take the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And you really start to see, like, all right, you was just here for the fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now we can't go have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we would.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like Rob said, all you have is conversations of substance, because it's no longer about, yeah, what'd you do this weekend? I went such. It's like, nah, more than likely you was in the house.
Right.
So it's like, what did you learn? What are you doing while you're in the crib? And if you just in the crib, killing time, Call of Duty, 2K, whatever, it's like, all right, well, maybe I've been in the crib reading books. Maybe I've been in the crib, like, working on this project that I put aside because I was too busy. So to both of y'all points, I mean, y'all made some amazing points. Like, you start to see who's there for fun and who's there to actually help build you up as a person. I would go ahead. Bro.
I even want to add too, like, for people listening to this and watching on the YouTube, if you realize that there's people that are there for fun that you thought were there for more, like, that's cool. Like, like, if that's their role, that's their role. Like, you just gotta accept that that's what it is, and not put any more expectation on it than what it is. But like, it's cool to have a friend that y'all just go out and kick it with. Like, that's cool. So don't shun nobody just because they didn't run to you in your time of need. Like, that just wasn't their role. COVID just made you realize it. So like, don't give them the cold shoulder, because they didn't play the role you wanted them to play.
That's good, brother. That's good. I would echo a lot of what y'all are saying. It was something that happened, man. I'm gonna keep it G. It was something that happened. It was an event that happened that even made me even think about bringing up this topic. Now, anybody that know me knows I'm not an outside guy. I mean, I be outside, but I'm not outside like that. You may or may not catch me at an event. Usually, if it's a large gathering, a large crowd, I probably won't be there. For just the sake of, it's just too many people. I don't know what's going on, and especially if I don't have somebody I trust there with me, I'm probably just not going to show up. I'm not a social butterfly. I just connect with the people that I connect with, and I'm comfortable with that. But there was an event that happened earlier this year that I didn't even know was happening. I didn't even get an invite to. Now, usually I don't get tight about stuff like that, because I'm like, hey, I'm cool. I don't get tight about being left out of certain things, because at the end of the day, it ain't like I'm just inviting everybody to everything I got going on too.
Right.
So you gotta if you put out that energy, you gotta be prepared to receive this. See that. But it was something that happened, and it was a beautiful event. It was a beautiful event, and I, like, somebody hit me like, "Yo, was you there?" And I was like, "Nah, I didn't even know that was happening." And I kind of felt the way, because this is somebody that referred to me as some type of family, right? And I was just like, "Yo, if we family," because I don't throw that word out a lot. You heard me? Like, I don't. If we just cool, you gonna know we just cool. You might even call me like, yeah, you like my brother. If you never heard me say it back, don't ever assume that that's what that is. Like Rob was saying, like, from from one side, like, you know, making those definitions clear. Like, if you ain't never heard me be like, yeah, you like a brother to me too, don't take it that way just because you said that to me, that it's the same thing reciprocated. So I've always tried to do my best at drawing those lines, but, you know, this is somebody that I've built with over the years and that's known me since a youngin'. And I understood why I maybe wasn't invited and included in that. It just threw me for a loop. And, you know, I felt the way for about 10-15 minutes, and then I let it go. But then I started to recollect just how COVID has affected my relationships as a whole. And like with Rob, it just showed levels. Back to going to what family means. You can tell who's family by the way they include you in the important events in their life. Because during this past year, Rob has shared a million pictures of his goddaughter Talia, who he asked me to be the godfather of. I got pictures from the first picture day at school, whether she's in a onesie that I got her, like, they've always made sure to include me in what she got going on. Birthday parties, whatever. And so, or like P is including me in whether it's new music or just his thought process and what's going on. Even me and like MC, we've grown a lot in this year. I mean, we talk more now in this year than we have in like the last 3-4 years, and we ain't never been ops, but they've just shown up, and it reminded me that where you're supposed to be, you'll be. And people will show you where you are in their life by the way they include you. Rob, if Rob has an event, I know I'm there. Because that's the equity that I've built in his life. Same with P, same with Matt. And so I felt the way for about 10-15 minutes, but I remember, like, I'm not lonely. I realize, like, the people that want you included, they'll make sure that you included. You know, you get the regular, like, church answer, like, oh, nah, I just forgot, man. If I had seen you, I probably would have remembered it. Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. But family makes sure you're never out of mind, even if you're out of sight. Yeah. That's the difference. And so that's what made me bring this to the conversation, because I've been having many conversations just organically about what family means and, how COVID has affected a lot of people's relationships. And so, like, with y'all, like, COVID has just kind of shown me, like, where I stand. And so that brings me to another thing, because we're believers, right? Yeah. We all have church families. Rob goes to City Church. Me and you, we were going to TC prior to the COVID. And so, TC has not been open in the past year. City Church reopened, and they've been doing their thing. Shout out to City Church. It brought me back. So it brought me to this too, because I talked to a lot of people that's gotten a lot of church hurt over the past year. Because especially having to deal with TC, and this isn't a TC Bass assessment, this is just the point of reference that I have to make, is, and even with me, I really started to see where I stood, because, again, you'll have those people that say, yeah, I'm just used to seeing you every Sunday, and if I had saw you this past Sunday, I probably would have remembered to say something. And so a lot of people that I know feel a disconnect from the church because it has not been open in the past year. And it's not like people are calling them and hitting them up. It's almost like, this was the point of reference on which we built the connection. So outside of this, we don't really have a connection. Because if I don't see you every Sunday, then it's, again, out of sight, out of mind. I don't see you every Sunday, so you're not included as much. And if you're not, and I mean, this past year has shown, like, if you're not really in the in crowd, you might not be as in the in crowd as you thought you was. Because I've even had people hit me like, yo, they letting people back in the building? I was like, I don't know. Like, anything having to do with that, I was like, bro, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't. He's like, nah, because somebody posted on Instagram and they got like a whole crowd there. Maybe they sent out a private text. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know, but they was hurt by that. They were like, but nah, I know such and such on staff, and they would have. You thought.
Yeah, you thought they would have.
You thought. So my question having to do with that is, how serious should we embrace the church family? Like, you know, because we come up in church, and I mean, me and Rob can, you know, attest our time at like SoFly and stuff. It started to become like a real family. Where you look forward to seeing these people every Sunday. It's almost like a family reunion every single Sunday. Yeah. And then on top of that, you take it throughout the week. These are the same people you kicking it with throughout. Me and Rob met at TC, right? And I mean, I can imagine even going to, you know, your home church before going to TC. You was telling me it was more like a family. But how serious as believers should we embrace the church family? Because, you know, a lot of us get into it so heavy that we get hurt as if we actually share the same bloodline with these people. So how serious should we embrace the church family?
Bro?
I feel like if you meet somebody at church and y'all relationship grows because of your time at church, I think you should keep in mind that, like, that's the level, like that's y'all level, like y'all are, like, essentially the name, y'all are church family or church friends, because I see you and only talk to you at church, you know. So I think if you meet somebody at church and it stays there, then that's the level. But if it happens like mine and yours did, and it's organically it starts to go outside of church and y'all hang out and y'all exchange numbers, like, I think it just depends on, I don't think there's a specific way. It's based off each person. So it's like, if it grows outside of church organically to where y'all are hanging out outside of church, then, you know, I think you should pay attention to that. But if it never happens outside of church as well, like, it's just church, like, you know, it's not like y'all aren't friends, y'all are just like associates based off of the same interests. So it's kind of iffy. It's not like one way to do it, but that's my opinion on it.
Yeah. I don't know, when I was younger, because I came from a smaller church, it was like probably like 60 people, and I literally been going there since I was born. Like, there's a picture of my pastor holding me when I was like 5 days old, like doing dedication. Yeah, and
you did a dedication at 5 days old.
Oh, something like a week. It was something early because I was
kind of young.
Well,
I ain't never heard of it.
My parents were like hard in Christ, you know.
Yeah.
So
they weren't playing.
Yeah, exactly. They said, all right, this Sunday, the next Sunday, they're pulling up.
This baby need Jesus now.
Yeah. But when I was growing up, church family was a big thing. It was like it was older adults would always hang out with my parents, and they would always have a relationship. Sometimes they would come, have coffee and then have food and just talk about life. And when you grow up with those people, it's like you kind of get a sense of family because you kind of grew up around those people. And when you see them, like, oh my God, hey sister, oh hey Alicia, how you doing? But that's something I've I guess embraced.
Man, what did you do with the microphone?
What?
You sound amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what you did, bro. What'd you do?
I don't know.
Nah, bro, he sounds clearer than he's ever sounded. I don't know.
Am I tripping? And I think he probably was volume or something. I don't know.
I haven't touched anything in the bro. Stop playing with me, bro. You've been doing this podcast thing too long. Stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. Stop playing. You learned something. You learning something. Stop playing, bro. But go ahead. My bad.
But there's some friends that you do meet, and like you always connect or get familiar with the people your age.
Yeah.
And those are the friends that you kick it with, and it's just some that you go through like youth, and you guys do all the baptisms together. Like that's the stuff you grew up with, and I feel like that kind of connection grows you guys really closer because you guys were walking in faith together. But life happens when you guys get older. You guys just separate. Some person might just leave a church, or some person just might go to another church. Church family. Well, I feel like there'll always be family because it's just you just spend so much time together and so much intimate things and so personal.
And forgive me because maybe y'all answered the question perfectly, but I just thought of how a more clear way, I was wanting to ask that question. Just the priority that a church family takes in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the priority. So, you know, I know a lot of people that, again, they love being at their church so much that, again, that was their priority.
Yeah.
Even over their, you know, own family. And so when they leave or something happens, they take everything to the next level. Like I was just talking to somebody, and they said they made a move. They moved out of state, and they came back, and their pastor, they felt like their pastor didn't like them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened.
And I was like, yo, what did that person do to make you feel like you didn't? It was just a feeling. It just felt like they didn't approve of what I was doing. I was like, so they still said, "What's up?" Yeah. They still gave you a hug? Yeah. But it just wasn't, I just felt out of the loop. So I was like, yo, that's the type of power we give people that, I ain't grow up with none of these niggas, man. What does that even matter? Like, I wouldn't even thought to even think that far into it. I would think of a pastor the same way I would think of a homie. Like, I ain't seen you in a while, so I don't expect you to just be shooting a breeze. We've been in two separate spaces in life, but I had to recollect coming up in So Fly. Like, a lot of people took P. Mike's words as like law.
Yeah.
That was it. And so it's almost like a lot of people take it as like another father figure. So, you know, when you do something that wasn't approved of, or you kind of went a separate way than what you were advised to, you know, you felt that, and you carried the disappointment that you felt like these people at these churches put on you, as if your own father was disappointed with you. And you know, I was telling somebody, I've had the privilege of like never really feeling like, I'm not gonna say the privilege, but I never really felt like I've just fit in just to one space. Having to move around New Orleans, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, here, and then just not being a social butterfly at all. Like, I've always had different pockets of friends where it was like, bro, I don't know how you hang out with them, and the other group of friends, like, I don't know why you hang out with them, right? And so I've never really felt like I just fit into one place. So I've never really put a lot of stock into how one group of people feel about me. And so but I can understand, like, in the church, especially serving and being in there, how people get that way, because this is where they belong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't have a sense of belonging prior to that. Like, if you don't really have a sense of family prior to that, they become your family, and you take it on as family. Like, yo, these people could care less about what I got going on. I've just always really approached the church family in that way. Like, you know, we come in, we congregate, we build, but I didn't grow with none of these people.
Yeah.
They could honestly care less about what I got going on, you know, unless it's mess, then that's a topic of discussion. But that's why I cling to people like Rob. You know, P was my dog before TC. Matt was my dog before TC. But like a lot of the outside of Rob, the people that are closest to me were close to me prior to TC. And so that had little to nothing to do with why we're close now. And even me and Rob, like, again, that relationship just organically spawned outside of TC. You know what I mean? Like, it just did. And so I'm thankful I never really fell into the trap of, you know, this is my family now.
Yeah.
These are the only people that care about me. No, half these people don't give a damn about me.
Yeah.
In real life. And a lot of people had to find that out the hard way. And a lot of people are starting to have had to find that out during this time, when they don't get invited to the Sunday services, when they're not getting invited to certain events. Like, the feeling that I was feeling when I didn't get invited to this event, these are things that people have been feeling all year.
Yeah.
And nobody really talks about how, you know, these churches, they take you in, they make you feel like family, and as soon as things go awry and you handle them any type of way, you know, because the accountability falls on the churches as well. Like, nobody talks about the church hurt from that side of it, where, you know, these churches, they bring you in, they make you feel like family. As soon as you do something opposite of what they approve of, they just act like you don't exist. It's toxic church culture. And there are churches that are like that. There are pastors like that.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, there's truth to that for sure. But at the same time, I think the biggest issue with just our generation is our foundation is in our church and is in our pastor. So once that gets shaky, our foundation was never in God in the first place.
That's good.
It was in a person that was able to relate. Wow, I look crazy.
I know.
I look crazy. No, but it's in it's in a person more than it is in God.
Yeah.
So, and that's pros and cons of going to a small church that becomes big, or that it's pros and cons in going to just a small church in general, is that it's very personable. Like, just like you said, growing up, like I grew up in a church where it was probably about 200 of us, but like we all lived in the hood, like we all knew each other. So like it felt like, man, y'all really care about me. And in reality, most of y'all do, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just it's like familiarity. So it does go in a church, but at the same time, if you haven't found your foundation in God for you and outside of Sundays, then that church hurt. You can't fully put it on the church, because the church is doing their job. They're making you feel welcome. They're making you feel like family. Like, come as you are. Like, we want you here. But you have to sustain God for you. Yeah, we're just here to kind of give you a little push to start your week, type of thing. So it's pretty tough. But yeah,
I echo that, bro. Like, and this is what I end up telling somebody I was talking to about this topic. I said, look, at the end of the day, it can be Mike, it can be Stephen Furtick, it can be John Gray, it can be whoever that people have put on this plateau. That's their fault. That's the person's fault. Yeah. I was like, when people get butthurt about something that Mike do or don't do, I don't pay attention. It's like, bro, you giving him power he don't even know he got. Or you giving this particular pastor power that they don't even know that or whether they know they have it or not. It's like, you still giving that power to them. Yeah. The fact that you care that much about what they think about what you're doing, it gives them that power. So yeah, they some of the responsibility falls on them, but I'm always gonna put the responsibility on the person that's attending. Like, you just read into that too much, or you put your identity in the church that you were going to, versus just creating your own identity outside of the church. Because you're a person outside this church, whether you go to this church or the church up the street. You still got to be that same person. So I agree. I mean, I always ask myself, because like sometimes you can catch yourself having that kind of like clinging on to identity. I always ask myself, okay, like what would happen if TC disappeared, or what would happen if a church I grew up with just disappeared? Like, who am I? Like, what would my relationship look like? Who am I? Yeah, exactly.
Shout out, Daddy. I really thought about that.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I just always said just to like keep myself reminded, just keep myself to always make sure my focus is on the relationship I have with God, not the relationship I have with the church right now. Yeah,
that's an absolute fact. That's an absolute fact. We a little passing out. Any other jewels of wisdom that you guys want to share as far as people separating their identity from the church? Any tips, words of wisdom on how you can any words or tips of wisdom on how you can constantly keep your identity separated from the church, not getting yourself too wrapped up into what church you go to versus just who you are as a person? Any tips on that? Both guys who have, went from one church to another church and had to make that transition.
Oh man, like I said, I would just say, just pretend or just eliminate just the church in the whole. Just like, I don't know, just like picture yourself in the middle of nowhere, and like, what does your relationship with God look like in that scene? I would say don't don't rely on too much on people, on the church.
Yeah.
Don't rely on the pastor. Don't rely on the people that you're surrounded with, because, I mean, like it says in the word, like, you're supposed to put your whole trust in heart, or put your trust in the Lord with all your heart, and not in, like, the pastor or the church, because a lot of people can let you down. So I would just say keep your focus on God, no matter
that's good, brother.
what people would say or do to you.
That's good.
Yeah, I will echo that. I mean, there's a lot of practical ways to do so, you know, but it's all based on you. But I mean, as cliche as it sounds, like, you got to find your identity in God. Like, you have to find out who you are and, like, what you're looking for, you know, from God. Like, what's your purpose, or, like, what's your calling? You know, it's all about self-reflection. Like, you have to know who you are in God, and not who you are in your church. Just make sure that you and God has a relationship over you and your church.
Gotcha. That's good, brother. And I would echo these two gentlemen. For Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them." That's not Pastor Stephen Furtick. That's not Pastor John Gray, Michael Todd, not the pastor on 31st and Garnett, not the pastor on 81st and Lewis, not the pastor you grew up with, not your mammy, not your pappy.
Yeah.
God created you, so he first and foremost is who you should put your identity in. That's good, fellas. And I would say the same thing. At the end of the day, in church, gangs, your job, your sport that you play, whatever you create your identity through, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Who are you without this person? Who are you without this church? Even your own family. Who are you if your family wasn't your family? Who are you is just you. Find yourself, love yourself is the theme of this podcast. And, you know, once we get to doing that, like these gentlemen have said, I think you're on the right track. But first and foremost, understand who you are, because churches change. You change churches. You change cities. You change. Life is ever evolving, but the core of you, the soul of you, has to stay the same. And if you don't know that person, then you're just gonna change from one person to the next. You know, you're gonna go from one, like Majin Buu. Majin Buu went from baby Buu to big Buu that couldn't speak a word, to baby Buu that was just bad, to a full grown Buu that was just a bully. Like, bro ain't know which Buu he wanted to be. It was just all depending on who he was fighting, right? But you know, the soul of you is what counts, man, and it shouldn't be wrapped up on what any man says. More or less a pastor. That's how you eliminate church hurt. Understand who you are first. So that was good, gentlemen, man. Shout out to Moses and Rob, bro. This is yeah. And we praying for you, man. If you experience church hurt in this time, feeling separated, feeling out of the loop, feeling like even your relationship with God has been strained because you don't have the same relationship with, the people in your building, man. I get it. I know a lot of people that's not going back to the church they were at before COVID. And so, it is a healing process, but try not to take it all too personal, man. At the end of the day, that was gonna be my final word. Church is a business, and as I was telling some, church is business.
Fortune 500 company.
Church is business. They got disgruntled employees as well as they got disgruntled. Church is business. So the same way that you would approach your work family, it's kind of you don't trust anybody at work that much. Don't put that same, because church is business. As long as money is flowing in and out of that, church is business. And you can't be surprised when you get handled like business.
Yeah.
Hope that don't go over your head. Church is business. That doesn't take the relationship out of it. That doesn't take God out of it. It just puts it in perspective. Yeah. If you're not adding and just taking away, you got to know where you fall on the totem pole. You hear me? So church is business. Remember that when you're talking about family. Church is business. Family is just family. You ain't gonna make that much money off of family unless you just put everybody in the position. And unless you the Wayans, this is hard to come by.
Facts.
Right? Family, that's what be straining people. It's like, man, I'm doing all this and I ain't getting nothing out of it, right? Church is business. So let that be that. Man, shout out to the Reach Over Culture podcast, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in, man. If you made it this far, shout out to you, bro. Yeah. You heard? And we're going to continue, man. We actually going to run a part 2 of this. We're going to get into friends, supporting friends. So make sure you tune in next week to the Reach Over Culture podcast. If you're on YouTube, don't leave comments about us about to be wearing the same thing.
Scrub. Because
this is about to be a follow-up. So, respectfully, you.
Respect it.
Reach Over Culture podcast. We out.